everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. About to get underway with the Ask Me Anything on these services for the... let me know if you guys can see my screen okay. Yes, you guys can see the screen? Should be able to. Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys. Now, I don't have a formal presentation tonight. I can give you just a general idea of what I've got here. I've got the store. If you got any questions, just chime in anytime you want. But if you go to the quantlabs.net store, I'll just show you quantlabs.net. You go to the store tab. And then what we're going to talk about tonight is the two services I've got, the Quant Analytics and the Quant ELITE membership. So basically, this one's monthly. You can buy it for a couple of months, for an annual, or whatever you want. There is also the ELITE service, which is this one right here. And that's what we're talking about. Have you guys made yourself familiar with it? If you haven't, I'm not sure what you guys are familiar with. I have the Quant Analytics. It's a new page, a new video series on there. It's got a new walkthrough. So if you come under here, which says note if you want to see tutorial videos, this is the entire service. This is the Quant Analytics, the monthly, and there's just so much to this. So if you want to see how each of the files work, they get updated every hour, depending upon the asset class you're interested in. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, forex, or whatever you want, you can definitely partake in it. There's a lot of juicy stuff. Right now, I've got my basic strategies running. They're just doing the downloading and working with the data. There's no trading on this yet. Hopefully, I'll be able to activate that in the next few days. If you haven't seen, I've been working pretty diligently on pair trading now. All this time, up until this point, I was always based on momentum strategies. So I've added now pair trading. So I've added 2 new videos. So I have here an example of crypto pairs that correlate for pair trading. This video, and there's also equivalent for forex as well for mean reversion. So I've added those. Where I think on average is about 80% of the time, most time series will mean revert. But to do it effectively, you want to do pair trading. So that's what I've included. So it's pretty well it. I can show you some charts and stuff if you want to see them. So let me know, but it's quite a bit of stuff. And I have an entire walkthrough video of everything. In I don't know, I think the video is maybe 20 minutes. But if you want to get a little more granular, more detail, obviously these videos will walk you through for each file that's generated. If it's a Word document or a chart, whatever you want, it's pretty well there. You guys got any questions so far? I don't want to talk your ear off. A lot of these charts are built around the Python course that I've got for sale under here, under the store again, and that's click here for all Python courses, and this is really one course. So all the charts and everything I show you how to use and build out. Just basic charts and Word documents, and you can learn it from this course. So how it works and the pricing is we have the Quant Analytics. That's a monthly service. As I said, you can buy 3-month or a year package. It's all discounted. The lowest price right now is the monthly, and it's $47 a month right now. It's very cheap, but it will go up in the next few days. Actually, about 30. It's going to go from 47 to 67 a month, and then up to 97 a month. In here, I'll be adding in live signals for trading. Somebody asked, well, that's fine, you're sending out signals, but what about if we're sleeping or it's on a weekend? I'm not saying I'll be able to do it, but I'm thinking of adding in a Python script that will show you how to read the signaling from the emails they send out, and then I can show you sample code to work with your broker or exchange for crypto or for Forex. So it will read the email of a signal and then automatically turn around and put an order into your exchange or broker. But right now I use Kraken for the crypto. I moved off of Binance. I'm kind of glad I did. I don't know if you heard, but as of September, sometime Binance will be blocking people from the U.S. to use Binance, and a lot of the big Asian exchanges are doing the same thing. They basically cite regulation. I do believe it's special interest from Coinbase that's been lobbying the government for that. So that's why that's happening. So with Kraken, they're based out of San Francisco, so they will and should support U.S. customers forever and ever. Amen, hopefully. And then the other one is the data from Oanda. And I use Oanda. I'm not a big fan of Oanda. Again, it's pretty well, as far as I know, the last Forex broker that supports Python API support, where it used to be with FXCM, and was it last year, 2 years ago, they got banned from the U.S. via the CFTA banned them. So again, Oanda is the last broker for Forex that enables you to work with Python within the States, but they are global as well, and obviously Kraken is global as well. So that's where the data sources come from for both crypto and Oanda. Any questions on that? I think we'll have a short session today if we don't get questions. I mean, this presentation is for you guys. If you guys got questions, I posted quite a lot of videos on this. But if you have any questions, let me know. As I said, that's the whole point of this presentation. Anybody got any questions? Don't be shy. Nothing will come out of it. But let me tell you what's going on right now. So there's two services that I've got. As I said, there's the the Quant Analytics. This one. So this includes. It's really designed for non-traders, non-technical people, with all the deep analysis stuff that you get. As I said, there's a tutorial page that goes very deep in Forex forecasting analysis, and that. You don't need to be a programmer to understand all that stuff. The Quant Analytics will include that service, also includes all the courses that I've listed, including the Python one I just talked about, as well as a lot of unique or exclusive stuff I put into that service, the annual service for that includes 4 courses. So there's the Python course. There's a course on using interactive brokers, a course on futures and options with some programming to it, as well as there's another course on how to build out logs and use that for debugging purposes and helping to tweak strategies that you build out from scratch, or as now people are calling them, bots. The cool thing about the Python course is once you get to a point where you can master it, you can literally, I'm able to build the last 2 bots I built that are now part of the analytics. I built them out each pretty well in 6 hours from nothing, because I knew the concepts and I knew the coding was very simple. I shouldn't say simple, but it's easier than most other languages. On top of, once you start tweaking it, with the parameters and stuff, you can maybe do it within 6 hours. Just depends what you're trying to do. But that's a hard part of the programming, tweaking a strategy or a bot, be it mean reversion or momentum based. And there's other ways to do it with the new up-and-coming machine learning. I'm waiting for the new TensorFlow production release to come out, which won't be so. I hope to see it in the fall of this year, and I'll start looking at that and building out some interesting things with that. Any questions so far? Man, I hope it's not boring you or overwhelming you. One other thing I need to stress is we have the chat server here. This can be pretty active. If you join for anything, it's been a long day. Bennyfish said long day. Yeah, long day here too. As I was saying with the private chat, I used to have a Telegram group pretty active. We were up to 60 people, and I whittled it down to 10, 15 people. We had about 4 or 5 active people on the Telegram, and I don't like the Telegram hosting this thing, and I moved off and I built my own custom chat server. You can sign up anonymously once you sign up for one of the other services, and you get that for life. There I post a lot of private stuff that I will not post on social media, my blog, or anywhere else. It's private. And I do have some private conversations with people on that chat server as well. So I give that, as I said, for life once you sign up. The other thing about I should mention about the pricing on the analytics, it's $47 forever and ever. You're grandfathered in at that rate. I've had people with my services for 7-8 years that are paying $47 from back in the day, and they've never ever had a price increase because with this analytics, it's pretty powerful. I can show you some unique things that you'll find with it. Currently, as I said, I'm running it right now. So this is all stuff built with the Python course. There's a lot of the concepts you can build around this. I use Redis, and I just want to show you some stuff that I found a few days ago. So as I said, these are various charts. So I'm not a big fan of CFD to trade with. And again, this is from Oanda. So these are some of the unique things you can get. This will give you an idea with CFDs of all the major commodities, instruments, financial instruments, or stock indices around the world. What is trading right now? So this, as I said, this gets updated every hour, and you get to see pretty well close to real time what is trading. So here, obviously, by volume, it's the Deutsche 30, and then oil, WTI, NASDAQ, and then Brent crude is the top 4. This is the interesting chart that I like, which you'll never hear about in the news. Is this PNG file right here? I'm just showing you some of the unique aspects of just alone on the Quant Analytics service that you won't get anywhere else. Right here, yesterday, wheat was the #1 asset to trade at that time. There was a little bit of eking in profit in these instruments in Deutsche 30, NASDAQ 100, UK 100, but wheat, you never hear about that on the major news, blogs. And look, it's trading up. And again, these are hourly moves. So you're up 7.19% for wheat. And you never even know that. So that's some of the unique services that you can get with just the analytics in the world of crypto. Also, there's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, Oanda's not the largest broker in the world. I thought they were, but they're big enough. They're #2 in the U.S., so there's enough volume there. Whereas opposed to the previous broker like Duca's Copy, they're now #8 in Europe, and I think that has an effect on your trading as well. Any questions so far? Been a long day, I know. So that's some of the highlights you can get that's fairly unique with the CFD. But there's another file that, just give me a second here. Just see here. So in here, I have all types of files. I have CSV files, Excel files, Word document files. Obviously, I'm showing you chart files like through PNG, and these are all generated every hour. So you can use these to your advantage right from the broker if you decide to go with a Wanda, like I do. They're an okay broker for their APIs and stuff. It's okay. Like I can get stuff working and get the job done, which is obviously pretty important. So I just want to show you this file right here, which is no different than the Forex as well. Let me just see if I can find it, which I should. Okay, so there's just two parts to my how this is all spanned out, but this will be all the files will be in one, what I call a goodie package of files. In fact, as I said, you can download it on demand, and then you download maybe 5 megs of data, and then you get all the files that I'm showing you right now. So let me just see here. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to find my proper directory here. Now, you would never obviously have to deal with this. It's all in one sample file. It's actually, you just download one zip file, and it's all in there in that one zip file. If I can find it. Let's see, this should be it here. Okay, so right now I'm going to show you the spreadsheet. So in here I have, let me just find the name. Okay, it's called CFD rank. So what this does, I'll find it. I know a better way. CFD. Oh, you know what I can do? I always forget about this. I'm getting off of the Mac. If there's any questions so far, let me know. I'll gladly answer them. Okay, so we're just opening up the spreadsheet program. I don't use Office. I just find there's a lot of free stuff out there, so call me Mr. Cheap Ass. Just if there's a free option, I'll gladly use it. So this will load up, I believe it's Apple numbers. So there's about 60 CFDs found on the Oanda. And meanwhile, back on the ranch, because my computer's so old. Wow. So these files, it's about, like I said, a total of about five meg that you'd be downloading as a zip file. So here's the rank. This is a spreadsheet that my Python scripts will gladly download. I show this in the tutorial videos, but what you can get, which is pretty important, are these columns where you can sort based on volume, momentum, standard deviation for volatility. You also get some standard statistical information. Obviously, the closing price is included of the latest closing price, and some other information as well. I do what they call a Fibonacci golden ratio, where is it valuable to buy at that point. I also include all kinds of things. So here, if I was to sort by momentum, I can see what the strong instruments will be, or the strong CFDs would be at that time historically. So that way I can confirm if it's worthwhile, if I'm going to trade on a long-term basis, to pick those particular instruments to trade on a long-term for like a buy and hold kind of strategy. So that's pretty helpful, I find. And right now I did an analysis on it, and what I found it was as the markets are turning, To the downside, it's your classic Treasury, Deutsche, German Bund, UK gilts, basically the bonds, gold, the gold-silver ratio, and the top three market indices were not the U.S., are Australia, then China, then India. And knowing that can help you, if you are a futures or an options trader, to focus on those particular futures or options that are available, or even ETFs, to get better performance on a long-term basis, because those are the particular instruments that are pretty well outperforming everything out there. Despite, when you look at the financial news, it's always they focus on, U.S. markets and maybe UK and Europe and a little bit of Asia. But using this, you'll be able to find out other instruments that are outperforming all of them combined. Any questions on that so far? I mean, I can show you some of the Forex stuff as well. Obviously, that's pretty popular. So the Forex is definitely something that people wanted. So I said, okay, I'll definitely include that. So in the Forex, it's exactly the same as the CFD, but there's a lot more to it, where I show things like, I have a watch list on what Forex pairs my system is watching on. These are for momentum-based instruments or pairs. I just put up 2 videos on the pair trading, so you can take a look at how that works. I've also got an interesting one called a stop loss. Let me just show you that, just a sample of it. It's called stop loss, take profit. So if you're trading, let's say, Forex or CFD, but I would not recommend to trade CFD, because there's not a lot of liquidity on the back end, on the exit. That's my experience. I mean, obviously the Forex is fine for liquidity, but this is an interesting file I've included for the Forex. So let's say you're interested in any of these that could be, as an example, on my watch list. So here we are watching, or actually this could be open positions. So if I wanted to trade these potential Forex pairs, I'll get the closing price, and then we set the different target levels. These are Fibonacci levels for the entry and exit. So there's the 4 levels, which are the 618, 786, level 100. And then this is the interesting thing that I've included. Here, the low stop and upper stop. The low stop is, let's say you were to put on a trade, but this is all calculated using the average true range, so that means the low stop loss is the target to get out if your trade moves against you. The up stop is another way of saying your take profit, so you can use this as a way to get out of your position on your entry, and I give you the suggested take profit level. These 2 here are what you call soft stops, and what they are, if you're not 100% confident in a trade, some traders will put a half a position on. So they'll set a target of what they call a soft target, and that's like half of the full position. So you can set those targets on a soft for the take profit or the stop loss, so that those are used as a way to say, I'm not feeling 100% on this trade, I'll put on half, and if it hits that target, I'll complete the trade and put more positions on to go from a soft to an actual full position on that target price, if that makes sense. So I include that as well. And that can be pretty useful as well. So that's something unique in the Forex. Another one that's really useful that you won't see at all is, let me see here. So in here, my charts, and I'll be supplying these live. What I do is I have a pair where I show. There's a couple of factors before you take on an entry in Forex is your spread cost. So if I look up spread, wow, my computer's not doing too good today. So let me see if I can find a. So I also can chart on different time periods as well. In this case, let me just give a. Let's say the Australian Hong Kong dollar, or actually, it doesn't really matter which one. Let's say the US dollar and the Indian rupee. So this is just an example of the spread cost chart that I can show. I include this in the package that you would download. And this is available for what's being watched. This is really useful because the bid-ask spread is really important. Out of all my trading that I've seen, all the technical indicators I've tried, all the quant and analytic formulas, calculations, there's nothing better than simple bid-ask spread for both Forex and also with crypto as well. So we're talking the order book. So fortunately with Oanda, they do give you that ability. And as far as I know, if you're trading on MetaTrader or some platform, a lot of platforms will not give you access to the bid and ask, at least from the broker that you're trading on. I have seen people complain about, if they're using MetaTrader, that they can get a expert advisor or an EA through MetaTrader, but yet that is an estimated bid and ask from some third party, but it has nothing to do with your broker. So that can really mess up your trading. Here, you're getting your trading exactly from your broker. So here in the orange line with the ask and bid, you can tell right there, this is not going to be time to trade. In this range right here, or where it really diverges. Because when you put on these positions for these certain pairs at that time, you'll be guaranteed to lose money because first you have to hope that your price moves up to make enough to meet the what do you call your break-even cost, which is your spread, and after that is your profit, and that's a pretty hard way to trade. So you're stuck with only a small subset of pairs to trade. But if you were to look at euro, US dollar as an example, you'll see how tight the spread is. It's very, 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 very tight. And as I was saying, you cannot really get that information through MetaTrader at the broker level. You can, and there's some platforms that do offer it, but not a lot. So with Python, they do. So I'm able to chart it, and as a result, a lot of people trade and they don't know about the spread and how it can kill you. You'd be surprised on that. So it's another unique thing that I offer as well. I mean, there's just so much out there. So here's an example of a tight spread, the euro US dollar, and you'll see how tight it is. It's just tight, and there's no divergence between the bid and ask. And as a result, that's much easier to trade. Any questions? As I said, you can chime in anytime you want. I'm just randomly picking up stuff that will make it a lot easier for you to trade. Anybody got questions? Nobody? Well, I appreciate you watching so far. There's a lot of unique things as well in the Forex. You're better off if you want to know the specifics, is just to go through the tutorial videos that I've spoken about, and to get access to that. It's very simple. You just go to the sales page of the analytics. Let me just show you here. So when you go in the store, you just pick off the Quant Analytics option, and then there you'll see a red, like I said, the red lettering in the blue. As here, note if you're wanting to see our tutorial videos on the service, please visit here. So here is what I'm speaking about. You go through all the tutorial videos. It'll walk you through each section, each file that's available in this service for $47. So on top of that, there's more. I could go on and on about the crypto. So I can show you that if you're interested. A lot of this might be pretty overwhelming for people. I'm not sure. It just depends upon your level. Let me know if this would overwhelm you, because I wouldn't be surprised it would. But on the other hand, there are people that would find this very, very useful for the offering price. So let me just show you the. Okay, just gotta go over to. Wow, this computer is. Okay, let me show you a few things first. Okay, so this is my database. In here, I use 5 crypto pairs, or coins, what I consider the big 5, which are Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is kind of useless now, but these 4 others are pretty well in the top 4, maybe top 5 by volume, if you went to CoinMarketCap. And what I do is I do basically a volume weighted average. And from there, I get what I call a weighted average, and I calculate this. So I use this as an overall metric to see if it's worthy to trade in the crypto currency asset class right now. And I'll tell you, it's not, because it's negative for the big 4 on the big moving price. These prices right now are hourly moves, so this gets updated, as I said, every hour. And the weighted average right now is negative because, as I said, all the big 5 here are negative. So your volume weighted average price is negative. Now, for my testing over the last, call it 6 months, your ideal trading condition for trading in cryptocurrency is when I would have originally said if your weighted average is at least 2. So that's another way of saying that the entire weighted average of those 5 coins are at least 2%. But in actual fact, it's 3% that you want to trade in, so that you can pretty well get a much higher probability of profit when you do trade crypto. It doesn't happen a lot when you are looking for the weighted average price to get above 3, but what can happen is if you do, as I said, you have a much, much higher probability of getting profitable trades, especially if Bitcoin's on the move. I've seen trades with Bitcoin $300-400 in an hour, and sometimes it could be a couple $100 in that hour, and then that time period of where the weighted average is over 3 can be on average about 3 or 4 hours. So it's like fishing. It's like you put your hook in and you wait for the conditions when they're ready to bite. When they bite big, and that's usually about, from what I'm seeing, 3-4 hours a week. But it's waiting it out to see those trading conditions so that you can go in and trade. And again, that's for momentum based. For mean reversion or pair trading, for my testing, and because crypto right now is so volatile, I have figured that I'm going to slow down my trading from going outside of the intraday to, excuse me, excuse me, go from intraday to daily trading only, and just setting up trading rules when certain crypto coins co-integrate. So I've just shown those videos as of today. Again, if you are interested, those videos are just put up too. So there's this one here, example of crypto pairs that co-integrate for pair trading, and then there's another one, again, the same thing, equivalent for Forex as well. And again, when you compare mean reversion and momentum, you will have a higher probability of getting more profitable positions with mean reverting. The positions and the profit, each position is much smaller, but it's more consistent, and it's a much higher probability of getting positions when they mean revert, as opposed to when you look for momentum-based strategies, and the opportunity are much higher for profit, but they're more infrequent, and the level of probability of profiting off of those positions is much lower than co-integration, or sorry, very much lower than mean reverting strategies. So you have to be aware of that, and that was a big wake-up call for me a couple of weeks ago. And I learned all that from somebody via the chat server that kind of helped guide me to ensure that the pair trading that I'm doing for both crypto and Forex should profit when they co-integrate. But it's still new for me to say how often do pairs either in Forex versus crypto co-integrate. So for example, if you're looking to see if what things co-integrate with crypto, it's not very often because of the volatile moves of crypto. And if it does co-integrate, it doesn't last very long. So you may get a couple of minutes, a couple of hours from what I've seen so far. But Forex is a completely different story. So if I was to show you the files for co-integration in Forex, this might be useful for some. Let me just open up a new console tab here. Okay, I'm going to show you a particular one I just generated, maybe in the last hour. Okay. So what we've got here is, okay, so what I'm going to show you is, let me show you the spreadsheet first. So what I'm going to show you is the co-integration for Forex, and this holds much longer. This looks like it's holding for a couple of weeks, so I'll show you that right now. This one, and we want. I'll show you the co-integration as well as an example. So this, again, this will generate a spreadsheet file. So with a Forex and a Wanda, I'm using the number of long and short for each pair that I'm showing you. So what I do is I'll take the top 3 strongest pairs as my long and my 3 weakest as my short. And then I cross-reference each other to find the p-value, which is another way of saying, is the p-value, meaning if it's co-integrating or not. If it's less than 0.05, then yes, it means likely that long and short will co-integrate into the future. And I'm using daily data only, and it's about 500 days worth. So it's a true co-integration moving into the future. So as you can see here, this this combo here is along the euro against the pound, and there's a short the pound against the franc, it cointegrates, and it cointegrates a lot of the time. And if I was to show you that, what I'll show you, this is included in the service, this is to show you that there's this very nice up momentum and trend, but what you'll find here in the blue line, that's the ratio between the long and the short. Again, the long of the euro pound, the short of the pound against the franc. And what I do is I'll show you the moving averages of a fast period and a slow period. And then that is shown. But you can see here quite clearly that there is some form of co-integration trend there. And this has been going on for a couple of weeks. And this for co-integration for pair trading, daily pair trading with a WANDA lasts for quite a while. This has been working and holding for about well over 10 days now. And this is a Z-score. And I got one of the videos I just recorded actually. It shows you what the Z-score is. So this is another way to time the trades for the pair trading of crypto, or Forex in this case. Any questions? Again, you're not going to see a lot of this stuff in anywhere. And it's all automated. And it's just data that you get access to. And then once they throw in the signaling piece for trading, this will make the service more valuable if those trading signals actually do turn out to be profitable. When I did the momentum stuff, it was averaging about 50–55%. And I sort of suspended it for two reasons, because the patterns of certain crypto pairs that were profitable for 4 months, which there was an article on about Litecoin, was much better performing than Bitcoin between December and April of this year. And the other one that was doing well was Binance Coin as well. But those broke down in mid-April, so I went back and started looking at other ways to profit more consistently. And when I looked at, oh, well, I've been always using momentum-based, got lucky, and now here we are to sort of diversify. When the momentum's no longer in your favor, I have to diversify and actually have a different type of strategy to sort of hope to get some profit with the mean reverting, and usually the pair trading will help there. And that, as I said, that's only for daily data. Any questions on that? One other discovery actually I could show you, which has really been useful, is the Fibonacci levels. I show that both in Forex and crypto for trading. But what I found was with crypto, it was really good. I've been tracking it for about maybe 2 months now. And I can show you some of the charts here. So here, these are generated today. So in our case, if I was to show you what's currently running, here's the watch list. Actually, I did have some crypto coins on a watch list, so I'll try to show you some of the ones that are more recent. So let's just go with the Bitcoin Cash hourly moving. So this one was probably added to the watch list, but they can be quickly removed off of the watch list when these crazy whipsaws come in. And I do that to protect obviously the account. When you put on a position, you don't want it to put on a position and have a whipsaw come in. So what I do is I track it, but I also do have trying to do the protection to not keep it on the watch list if whipsaws come in or it gets too volatile. But here's a great example. So this looks good. This kind of looks good, this up candle, but there's these crazy whipsaws that come along. If I had a position right here, yeah, I would have been out. I would have had that position lose. So these kind of charts really help out. Another one is the Fibonacci. So I'll show you the equivalent of that one for the Bitcoin Cash. This is really helpful for timing positions. There's different ways to trade, obviously, right? Okay. Trying to free up some memory here. Okay. Just waiting for this thing to load up. Alrighty. Alright, so as I was saying about the Fibonacci levels, sometimes it's faster than the console. Okay. So just go to my Kraken directory here. And I believe we want chart. Okay, I'm going to show you a random Fibonacci, was the Bitcoin Cash. But you know what? I'll show you the one from earlier today on Bitcoin. I'm going to show you some of the patterns that I've been watching, which are really, really good. It's kind of not saying you can make a lot of cash with these, but the patterns are there. So just as an example, there's another way I can do this as well. I've built my own scripts that I can generate charts on demand, and I'll show you an example. I'll use Bitcoin as an example because Bitcoin's really good to show you right now. So I have this script I built. Okay, so we're going to do Bitcoin USD, and this is for 7 days, this chart. Holy man. Okay. Release memory. Okay. Hopefully that'll help. Stop. Okay. When you're running Zoom at the same time, it doesn't help there either. Okay, let's see what can I kill out of this lot. Oh, looks like I'm for the bare bones here. Kill that. And I'll kill Python itself. Or maybe that. Okay. So I'll generate some new Fibonacci charts here. Might take a bit of time. Maybe I can. Okay. Life of a programmer running multiple things on a little bitty MacBook. Okay. Okay, so hopefully I've generated some new charts here. So I am going to show you Bitcoin USD, hourly Fibonacci. Let's see if this will. If I kill this strategy, the running of this is not worth it. Okay, so you can see here we've got the Fibonacci values. So this is included in the crypto, Forex, all that. And this is great for timing trades. So what we have here is we have the Fibonacci's 236.3, 62, 500, 618, 786, and 100. Now I'm showing you this just as a great example of what I've kind of discovered. when you are waiting on price action, usually you can use Fibonacci levels for support and resistance at all times. So what I like to do is I got the 500. The momentum of Bitcoin is amazing. If it hits a certain level, it can move up 10, 20% in a day. And, well, let's say 10% up to in a day. So in this case, if we waited out for a couple of days, sometimes even 24 hours for it to hit the 500 level, we know that we're moving into a situation where Bitcoin is on the move. With that, what I've also said is if you watch certain videos on Fibonacci sequences, what you'll find that a lot of people say is, remember that Fibonacci sequences are based around Mother Nature, and it's all around us and all these sequences. So for this, when you look at the 618 level, you can use that as an entry. And then usually what happens is it'll hit the 786 level here, the blue line. And then sometimes, but most of the time, it will get driven up all the way up to the 100, this level here in red. And then what can happen is if there's enough momentum for that time period, the price will move up and down between the 786 and the 100. So every time it moves up and down and oscillates between the two, that's a 1% move. And you can see here, it's been bouncing around. And there's certain examples that I could show where it will sustain at that level. So now your 786 is the new support level, but the resistance is always at 100, where it never breaches the level 100. And usually it oscillates between the two. And that's where I came up with this, I need to have mean reversion. Just give me a second here. I'm going to save my recording. At all? Oh, it's been a long day. That's the last response I get from Benny Fish. Oh, now at the moment, this has been a good overview. Yeah, I hope it is. The thing is, as I said, this probably could overwhelm people. But there's a lot of unique data points that can be very, very useful for people, especially Fibonacci, timing on positions. As I said, you could just use this as one exclusive way to trade and trade on price targeting. So if you know your price hits at 618, enter, then usually it will, very probable that it will hit the 786 level, exit, just as an example, and then exit that, take profit, open up a new position, and like here as an example where this little beach ball thing is, you can see it does get driven right up to level 100. I see that all the time. And a lot of the other cryptocurrencies kind of follow that same pattern. So you could trade just around that alone, just in the world of crypto. And that's what the signaling will give, plus the data. Now, one other thing I can show you that might be useful is what I call the big ass report. Oh, where do you set the initial level for the Fib? Well, I can show you what I do. Now, remember, I ran that chart on the 7-day. So what I can do is I usually do a 2-day. So on the 2-day, which is much granular to watch, I can show you that. And what I do is it will take the min price of that time period and the max price and the min price, and it draws out automatically the Fibonacci levels from that, the min and max of the price over that time period. And the only time periods I do it for is using hourly data with either 2-day or 7-day. So I'll show you what I mean here. So I'll just show you another example of what I use. So here I could use, I don't really need to look at the moving average at all. But I can show you that. 1 hour fib. Okay, just as an example. Just to show you how I can do it visually. Forgot to mention something as well. In these charts, these are really, really powerful. So this is a 2-day. So when you look at it, it's just basically something like that. Okay, this is the same pattern. It works. Because here we're establishing the 500 in the last 24 hours. Right here. And again, once it hits the 618, enter, guess what it does? It moves up to 786. We take profit where that blue line is. Okay, and then we can usually put on a new position once it hits the 100 here at the red, and then it goes in this weird oscillation sometimes. And that's the simplest trade you want. Also, I want to highlight here the Fibonacci levels. So here, over 2 days, you can get the pricing of what those Fibonacci levels are. So when it hits the 100, you are at $9,400 for Bitcoin. If you hit the 786 level, you are at 9066 price. And the entry at 618 is 8804. So you get the precise target levels for your entry at 618, your first profit or exit at 786, and then if you're feeling lucky, and usually there's enough momentum there, it will move up to the 100 level. There's a lot of ways you can get around that. So for example, let's say you, now again, I include all the files I'm showing you are in one file that you download from the back end, and just put your name, email, and it emails it to you on demand. And you get all the files in one zip file, okay? And all those files get updated every hour. As long as the market's open, it gets updated the latest hour. So your files are generally not, the data you're going to look at is not going to be not much older than 1 hour, okay? So it's really important to understand that. So part of this report data, just make sure I'm in the right directory. Okay, I am. So in here I include a document, a Word document. Nope. Let's see here. Again, I highlighted in the, let's see, where would it be? Oh, I remember. It's in my old, sorry to put you through this pain of me figuring stuff out. But usually, remember, I don't know if you remember, I showed you the rank file where you could get all the data for momentum and all the statistical information. You can use that to confirm direction on the pricing on the Fibonacci levels. So you can use that data to help you figure out market direction, because if you're looking at, for instance, let me just show you as an example. This is fairly new what I'm about to show you. No, sure, this is on the crypto. Okay, so if I run this script, I can easily generate this as a script file. Boy, I'm confused today. Okay. So I have a script called Kraken, Screener Kraken. I am not doing too good today. Kraken Screener, this one right here. So if I run that, what this does as an example. So if I'm showing you Fibonacci levels and I want to know market direction, what I can do is this script, what it will do is it will go out and measure the bid and ask for those pairs. And if I know that the asks are more than the bids, I do know that the price will be driven up. So because of that, if I know the price will be driven up as, let's say the price is at the level 500, the Fibonacci, and I know that there's going to be more asks than bids, chances are it's going to be driven up to the 618 level, which means that's my entry. And then if I know still at that point that my asks are more than my bids, chances are it's still going to get up to the 786 level, and I can use that as my first leg for profit, and then exit, take profit. And that's just one way to automate the trades. So right here as an example, what it's doing is excuse me. What it's doing right here, it's downloading 88 Cardano against US dollar, and it's grabbing the bids and asks. I can't remember which one's which. I think these are the bids and this is the ask. So basically what it's saying is no, this is the ask right here. This one right here is the ask. This is the bid currently for the last hour on the price. So that means it's a short opportunity. So if I know it's a short opportunity, then I know that the price will get driven down. And then what I do is I can basically calculate a ratio between the two, the ask and the bid, and then that will give me this negative 1.104. And then at the same time, I can also measure the rate of change on the price over the last 4 hours. So if I know it's negative, I know it's going down. So I know I can either short it if I want, or if I can long it if I want. But right now, what I'm after is performance and giving me the best performer out of the lot. And that's what the Fibonacci's give as well. But I do give this data as well, and this does get updated every hour. And as you can see here, this is for Bitcoin Cash, does the same thing, does the bid ask. Here's the performance on the ROCP, rate of change percent over 4 hours. This is it's positive, and it's a long short ratio, so that means it's a long. So basically what's happening right now is that there's more asks at 977 versus the bids. So if I look at TradingView right now, as an example, and I look at that, chances are, if I look at Bitcash against USD, you'll probably see that the price is moving. And I can use that again as a form of the Fibonacci levels for entries and exits. That's the powerful thing about it. And what I do is I automate all that. And now I have the capability quite down the line to automate it for the trades and then send out signals based around that. This is just one strategy that I'm using right now. So I'm testing out the paired trading. That's another example. So this is Bitcoin Cash against US dollar. I don't know what exchange it is. It's probably Coinbase. But it doesn't really matter. They're usually similar. But my apologies for this whole thing being really slow. You can see it's already up 0.182%. So right now, if I look at just the signals on TradingView, it'll tell me I probably have a buy signal. Yeah, so we have a buy signal right here. Okay, and you know, it's performing pretty decently in the last few days. It's kind of been flat. But if I go on to the intraday level, let's see what it says. See, it's still a buy signal. And you can see it's been moving since right around here, 23.26. So I know that that's a strong mover right now. And that's what I'm looking for. So I can confirm that data direction using the Fibonacci levels, say, okay, if I know the number of asks are driving up the price because of this ratio at 2.49, which is very strong, moving up, that chances are it will hit the 686, and it will, 618, and then it'll be driven up to the 786. I can even chart that if I want on the Fibonacci level, just as an example. Okay, hang on here. I'm going to break that. And it does it for 18 pairs. So if I was to run that chart for Bitcoin Cash against US dollar for, let's say, the last 2 days on the Fibonacci level, what was it called? Chart price action. So it's BCH US dollar, 2 days. So I'll generate the Fibonacci charts for it, and you can see what I mean. So when you know you have your bid and ask, that gives you confirmation on the price being driven up because you have more asks than bids, and then you can use the Fibonacci level to sort of use as a form of measuring on your timing of the position. So that's what we're going to look at right now. So if I was to look at this, the BCH, here. Okay, I think it's down here. Okay, let me just run another script. I have 2 different versions of this script. I need to run this one. Okay, so right now we're doing Bitcoin Cash against US dollar. We know it's moving up, but let's see what the Fibonacci levels say on the pricing. Now, if this was a trading opportunity, this could last for about 4 hours. So based upon what the Fibonacci tells me over 2 days, and I like doing 2 days because it gives you precisely the most optimal target levels if you want to do an entry and an exit on this as a trading opportunity. Okay, so we are generating our charts right now. So there they are. So we'll just look at the Fibonacci right now. Okay, so we're going to bring up both the moving average Fibonacci, two different charts. Okay, so here we are. So right now, historically, the price of Bitcoin Cash is fairly has been on a negative downtrend. So there's a couple of things that could happen here. We know the price is being driven up. What I would do, this is a tough one. These are the weird trading situations. Here is not at the level 500 to use as support. Your support's probably down in around here. But what I like to see is to get the price up at least 500 and then show that strength and the momentum. Once that's established and once your support level at 500 has been established, it may happen in the next day, but it may not at the same time. Once it's been established, then we enter at the 618 and then exit 786. So right here, okay. Any other questions so far? I'm just showing you some examples of how you can trade this as an opportunity. But historically, Bitcoin Cash has been battered down quite a bit over the last 2 days. And it may, as you can see here in the chart, the trend has been fairly strong on the downside, but yet we have a one bar that shows strength. But it may trend down again, as you can see here. So up here, you have that up bar, and then it flatlined, and then we had a big downswing, a whipsaw that came in it and just took it out after, so it looks like 4 or 5 bars, so 4 or 5 hours. So that's why I need to see this price, even though you could probably trade it right now, but to guarantee profit, or I should say a much higher probability of profit, is you want to have established that 500 level, and then you want to wait it out. Once it establishes at the 500, then you want to see it hit at the 618. You just wait it out until it hits 618. And if it goes down, you just save yourself some money. And if you do make money, you're probably going to make not a lot, if that makes sense. But usually Bitcoin does move in a similar pattern as Bitcoin as well. But that was a good example just to show you what's going on. Any other questions at all? So I show this sort of thing every hour in the data, in the charts, in the Word documents and whatnot, and in the Excel spreadsheets as well. And the best thing is it's all automated. Anybody else got any questions at all? Just trying to figure out. Because I could show you some of the Word documents, but again, you'll see those in the tutorial videos, because those show harmonic patterns, they show candlesticks, they show all kinds of stuff. But I'm just showing you all the unique things that you will get from automated ways by looking at the data whenever you want, every hour on demand, and be able to download it and then go through the files and figure out how you want to trade. Any questions so far? So what I'm showing you is the ELITE. I have no idea how many of you guys are programmers, because what I'm just showing you is just for non-programmers, just traders that use charts and reports to help them trade and gauge. But what I will say all this year, the two best that I've seen that work really, really well, that do show market direction and confirm probability of profit, is using Fibonacci for timing, and then the bid and ask for confirmed market direction. Any other questions at all? If not, I've been going for over an hour. As I said, what I'm going to be doing is I'll be providing the signaling on these when they get to a point where I'm pretty confident they work. Also, that's for both the crypto and the Forex, using the same data, but I've also shown you some of the unique features of each Forex versus crypto. But yeah, I mean, once you understand these charts and whatnot, they're pretty helpful. So anybody got any questions? If not, I can terminate this session if need be. Anybody? No more? I'm not sure if our other person has any questions. Now remember, on the pricing, it's $47. I'm not sure where you guys stand, but if you want to learn about, as a programmer, to build out the bots, you may want to go for the ELITE service. If you're not on my list, you won't know about it, because you have to be tagged to get onto the ELITE service and the ELITE offering that I'm going to have. But if you just want to focus on the analytics, it's dirt cheap at $47 a month. Whereas the other one, the ELITE, is for an annual of $9.97, but I might extend that out for 2 years or maybe even 3 years. But again, that's probably an awesome deal right now that I'm going to probably put on for a couple of days, and I'm going to have a certain number of people that can to buy it, and I'm going to have a certain number of people allocated that will be able to get it at that price, first come, first serve, and then close it off and put it back to its normal price. So I'll do that probably for the next, I don't know, a couple of days, couple of weeks, I don't know. So I'm looking at that if you are interested. But remember, the analytics is part of that Quant Elite service. So I'm looking at that as a promotion for the next couple of days, week or so, and then it's going to be on for how long, I don't know. It just depends upon how many people buy the service at that price. And as I said, I'm going to extend out the subscription time as well. More than I'm looking at maybe 2, maybe 3 years. But I'm going to keep the number of people that can buy into it very low because it can be a liability against me at what people are paying for at that rate. Any other questions at all? Concerns, criticisms, comments, anything? If not, I can terminate this. But I can show you the reports. They go deep. Let's see if I can find them. This is under an old folder. But let me see if I could find a couple of examples. I haven't been in here in this section for a long time, but I can quickly. So I'll just show you a sampling of what we're talking about here. So when it comes to the reports, I show either 4 reports, but they're formatted the same way. So I show short opportunities. I also show long opportunities. Depending upon what's going on in the market, remember this is crypto found on Binance, but we're now switched over to Kraken. But the format's the same. So if I was to show you, usually this is the best one right here, that one. So there's based on shorting opportunities, longing opportunities, and I filter them out. On top of that, where I filter out on volume, and I also filter on trend. Usually the one on trends is the best one. Somebody open this up. I'm just going to show you what it looks like, just as a sample. So, just waiting for the program to load up. Pages, Apple Pages. Ugh. Apologize for the slowness of this computer again. Okay, so these can be pretty big files. This one is 2.74 meg. This is 1.9 meg, so it's going to be pretty big. Okay. Just waiting for this thing to load up. I didn't think it'd take this long. Okay, let me go the other way. It's gonna come in here. This is from Binance a few months ago. Just as an example. So it's gonna get to the right directory right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you a smaller one. Let me just show you this one. So there's going to be a lot more pairs available through Binance, but as I said, another reason why I switched over to Kraken is because I don't want to trade in crypto anymore. I want to trade in US dollar fiat currency only. It removes a lot of the volatility. On top of that, when I trade in Kraken, I only work with the top 15 usually coins out there that are based on volume. Wow, this is not good. Okay, let me just terminate this one. Oh, I didn't think it'd take this long. I only have the 2 Word documents. The other problem is Libre has just gotten so massive now. It's going to free up some more memory here. Terminate. Okay. Any questions in the meantime? Anything at all? You get a not responding message. It's not very helpful. All good. Okay, thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. I humbly apologize here. Okay, so it's coming up. Now, first thing I'll mention is page size, but that shouldn't really matter. But what matters is I only focus on usually the top 2. Reason being only top 2 because anything beyond that is kind of a guessing game. So you want to use the ones that have more probability. These reports are really useful because they show you at a quick glance of all the different indicators just to confirm your theory on certain coins and the calls they're making. So I'm hoping to show you as it loads up. It will show you, as I said, harmonics. It will show you candle patterns. It will show you moving averages, crosses of moving averages, whole slew of stuff, trend, and it's pretty deep. But you can see here, it's, I think this is, I guess this is the smaller version, but I just want to show you just a sampling. As I said, it is in the tutorial videos. So I have a whole video of it, especially, probably the other problem is I got all these tabs open. It's crazy. They take up a lot of memory, these tabs. Okay, so this is the tutorial videos. This is the video I'm talking about right now. Surprising crypto coin movers in these reports. So this is what I'm trying to show you right now. There's one for the crypto, and there's a set for the forex as well, and they're basically all the same. So let me try to get to the beginning here. Okay, this is how they work. So this is just long only. They're not. So there, as I said, there's another set filtered on trend and another set filtered on volume. So in this case, being from Binance, but the ones for the new service is only from Kraken. So, but the format is the same. So in this case, we have, these pairs that says these are signals worth looking into. So basically, I give a group volume mean and the group volatility mean. And these are for all the closing prices of all the charts that you see. So this goes in order of a ranking of which ones have a probability of actually giving profit in the next few days. I'll show you why. So we know we have a group volume mean and we have a group volatility mean. So for each pair that I give in this report, and I give the same set of indicators for each of these pairs, I'll just show you one or two. So here we have Zcash against Bitcoin. This is the individual standard deviation, so you can compare this against the volatility of the group. So you know that the group volatility is lower, or sorry, this particular pair, Zcash against Bitcoin, is lower than the group mean. So this means this is less volatile than the group. On top of that, this gives you the volume, because that does matter. And then the Fibonacci. Now you can use Fibonacci for the pricing target level or pricing targets, as I showed earlier, and also if the price is in the golden range, meaning it's within the 681 and the 786 level, and if it is, it's worthwhile buying. It's kind of like an RSI. So here you can see all the way back. It goes back to the peak for Zcash, and you can see it's just been a steady downward trend. And I got the trend line here, which shows it. And what you're looking for is the price to be higher than the trend. In this case, it's negative, so does that mean it's going to be negative from this day forward? I don't know. But again, here's the Fibonacci levels. And what you want to find is ideally to be in the golden zone, but if it's even below the golden zone, it's still valuable. What you don't want to do is you want to buy and enter in the market when the price in black here gets higher than this cyan line, because that means it's overvalued. You want to be between the cyan and the green lines for it to be in the golden zone. And here, this is really useful as well. If you're in the statistics I give, distribution of the daily returns, so you can see it's kind of evenly split. It's no extreme tail risk here. Also, as I mentioned, that I do harmonics now, or have been doing harmonics. In this case, it's a bearish, so that's not a good thing. Here, so this chart was generated back in March. It will give you either the particular candle pattern. It will also give you if it's bearish or bullish. And if you go to a website called thepatternSite.com and look up the particular candles, you can then get a general consensus if that candle can be reliable or not, and what's the probability you'll see that candle. So you can use the patternSite.com as a reference. I encourage people to check it out. Candle patterns are very useful, but I would not use them exclusively. So here's the site, and you have candlestick patterns, and he pretty well covers a couple hundred of them. He's got a book out, and you can go through it, and you can figure out which candles are reliable or not. So it's something I would look at. This chart is pretty well, actually this chart can be useful because the idea behind it was to show this overlaying the Fibonacci with trend lines of an upward and a downward trend. In here, if you looked at some of these particular charts, it would show wedges and pendants, if you're into all that. But I don't use it as much as I used to. Here it comes back to the moving average, RSI, momentum. The only difference is I base it upon 180 days. This one's 90 days. And then this one's 30 days. And then it moves on to the next coin. And it does the same thing. Moving average crosses, the trend, the Fibonacci. Here it's mainly to see if it's in the golden cross. The returns, you see here, in this case, it's definitely more negative. But we do have a bullish harmonic. We also have a bearish. So when you get a bullish and bearish, I just cancel each other out. Same with the candles as well. Sometimes I have this head and shoulder business as well, where it looks like it's got a head and shoulder, but it's beyond this green dot, which is the expected price move. And then again, it comes back to the candle patterns. So here we have two bullish. So this may mean it may be moving up this particular coin. And everything else is the same for each coin that's listed. And every report has the same set of data as well. Any questions about that? Okay, let me just stop my recording, make sure I get that. Okay, so we're back. Any questions so far? I mean, I've been going on for an hour and a half of just unique services and data features and charts and stuff of what's in this thing between crypto and Forex. And as I said, the programming capabilities are there for the trading signals. So I'll provide those. How that'll work is you'll get a signal based upon any of these combinations that look like there is a position, a signal, or a particular signal will go out. But there's a lot of times where there's false signals. So it's only a signal as I define when there's an actual entry going to be put on. Anything else, it will not be sent out. It's sent out by email. The problem is it's 24 hours. So if you're trading crypto, you're sleeping, you get a signal. What do you do? So that's what I'm thinking of. Well, maybe I should provide sample source code to show you how to read that email and then be able to, at the same time, be able to have it trade based off of that signal email. And then I'd probably very strongly recommend you either sign up with Oanda or you sign up with Kraken. And that's why I use both, because probably half of my clientele are US based. So there's no point in offering Binance as an exchange for potential people that be interested in this type of service. But an American wants to sign up and say, I can't use it because as of September, I can't get access to Binance. So again, that's why I'm on Kraken. Any questions or concerns on any of that? As I said, I've been going for an hour and a half. As you said, Benny, it is detailed. It's very detailed. It is overwhelming, but a lot of these signals are the ones that do work. The ones that I'm really more interested, the primary from a simplistic point of view, is what I was showing you with the Fibonacci and the bid and ask. I think that's all you really need. All this other stuff you can use for confirmation. But what seems to work really well is the bid ask for market direction, and then there's some other ones as well that you can use to complement that call and to support it. And all these charts I'm showing you, you can use for visual and research and whatnot. But the Fibonacci charting that I've shown you is very useful for timing the trades as well as bid and ask for market direction. One last thing I can show you is a spreadsheet I wanted to show you. I kind of alluded to this here. This crypto, let me see here. Yeah, this spreadsheet right here, I'll show you. Okay. All right. So this particular, I'll just load it up. So I gotta do the usual navigation to it. It's right in here. Okay, so in here is just what I'm looking at. This is a total complete snapshot of all the pairs out there. As I said, this is using Binance. So if I was to ever go back to Binance, I think they have, I don't know how many pairs they have. It's absolutely crazy the amount of pairs. Well, let's total them up. 200, maybe 300 plus. Look at this. This is on Binance. 415 pairs in March. Crazy. But anyways, I'm able to track it all, or I did at the time. That's why I moved to Kraken. A lot of this is just extraneous stuff you don't really need. A lot of these pairs are useless. I mean, it's great that you can see I've got all these pairs and stuff that work, but they don't. Kraken has just got 18, and they're the big ones, and that's all you really need to focus on. But just as an example, what you can do with this thing, you can do a slope on a sort on slope. I've shown this before. So that's column N. Come on. Just so I was used descending. This is just as an example to show you what are our strongest pairs at this point? Again, these were generated in March. So you can see here, EOS against US dollar. No, this is Tether, I believe. Is very strong, and that's sorted by trend, or sorry, slope. Actually, it's this one. So in this case, it looks like it's Bitcoin Cash SV, and then USD, C and BNB, PAX, and you can do all kinds of really useful things. You can sort by standard deviation to find which ones are the most volatile, least volatile, which ones have the most volume. A lot of good stuff in here that you can sort and dig deep into this. That's another way to confirm will you have market direction if you were to look at the timing using your Fibonacci trace levels. So there's that. There's a lot of stuff. I don't want to. I have a what I call an alert. It's a text file showing you when it detects patterns at the time, the pair. So in this case, what we have here is, so back in March, I could have it say, oh, we've detected a head and shoulder at this time. It's been detected. We also can track patterns as well. You know, if it's a bullish, what kind of pattern is it? Is it bearish? Is it bullish? So we can use that as an alert system as well. And it's mostly head and shoulders and candle patterns. I could add more if I want, but again, this is kind of useful, I would imagine, for some people. What else is there? There's so much. I lose track of it all. Oh, there's two other ones. I have what I call the most profitable and most potential. So these are, and again, these are updated every hour. So in this case, what we're looking at, again, this is found on Binance, but Kraken, it's going to be less. But in this case, as an example, here's our most profitable at that time, meaning, well, we had an hourly move on DNT and Bitcoin with a 14% hourly move. CVC and Ethereum, we had an hourly move of 11%. So this can be useful for people that want to know what are the movers on, well, now it'd be Kraken, but back then it would be for Binance. The problem with this spreadsheet, it does not factor in volatility, whipsaws. So I track those whipsaws, and then I filter out those movers and only keep the ones that have not had down whipsaws moving against you. So these are all of the pairs, again, that have, in this case, DNT Ethereum, 22% move in an hour and a 14% move over 3 hours. And here's the volume. So if I know my volume is much higher in DNT Bitcoin with an hourly move of 14%, maybe I should trade in the Bitcoin. And so on this goes. Also, I have another file which could be useful, is the watch list as well. The watch list is good because at this particular time, this is what's on the watch list. Okay, so all these pairs are currently on the watch list, and that's part of the package when you download it. Obviously, it's going to be much smaller because I'm using Kraken versus Binance, but just showing you what I have capabilities to do. This one's really useful as well. So these are the pairs that have those crazy whipsaws that go against you, and I logged them over 6 hours. Looks like I don't have any here. Oh, here they are. So these are the whipsaws that move really badly, more than, I can't remember the number, if it's more than 0.25%, 0.5%, and then when they do hit, I log them. So in this case, we have ARK against Ethereum. On this day, at this time, there was a negative whipsaw. What does that mean? So when they get put on the watch list or they become a mover and it still has all these whipsaws, I don't want it to be on the watch list because it means that there's going to be certain pairs on there that will have high probability of having whipsaws. So I keep the list clean and don't put the pairs on there that have these whipsaws. So I log these, if that makes sense. And I log the time when the whipsaw happens, because this will save you in bad trades. And this is very useful for momentum trading. Okay. Hopefully I still have you. Again, I showed you the stop loss take profit. So here's another example of that. Let me just show you. So these pairs I'm showing you right now would be typical ones on my that are open. These are the positions. So this is the entry price, these are the levels, and these are the targets. So the real big one is the stop loss. So if the price does suddenly drop below this stop loss, then it cuts the trade to minimize the loss. Or on the other end, if you want to have a take profit on what I call the upstop at the time when it was created. That makes sense. So I'm showing you quite a bit of information, what can be found in here. Let me just see. I also track the stats if you want. It goes pretty deep in the stats. The only thing I find useful in the stats is the daily returns. The positive returns versus negative returns, and then turn it into a distribution. And I'm already tracking the standard deviation as well for volatility. And I think that's pretty well it. Let me just show you the stats file if you'd be into that. Pretty crazy stuff that's been developed. This has been in development for about 2 years. So it's very detailed. So here you get in the three time frames. You get daily, hourly, that's minute. I don't know if, the minute works. We also track the number of positive returns here for 1 minute, positive returns for daily, positive returns for an hourly, the standard deviation for the minute, standard deviation for the 1 day, and 1 hour for each pair. Well, you won't get this many, but Kraken's 18 versus, what was it, 400 plus? Pretty crazy. Any questions or concerns? And that's all for $47 a month. That's a pretty good deal. So, yeah, I mean, I've just shown you now two hours worth of stuff for $47 right now. But of course, the price will be going up. I've been told this service and all this stuff with the signaling should be a couple $100 a month, but it won't go up that fast. But that's what people say it should be worth, because it's all automated. Any questions out there? I think we already lost somebody. Have I answered all your questions, Benny? Yeah, no problem, man. Hopefully you got a good view of this. It's almost 2 hours. And I'm happy to say I got the files. Hopefully I could turn this and post this into a video. But if you got nothing to ask, man, I guess we're done. But thanks for watching and putting up with that. If you're already a customer, no problem, man. I was willing to allocate this anyways. I know you should be on the chat server. And I know you email me. Just you should be on the chat server. I know we got some good people on there. Right, like I said, I post a lot of the private stuff on there too. So if we don't have any questions or comments or anything, I can terminate this, and I'll get this file posted in the next few hours. And what I do is I'll do it going once, twice, 3 times, and we'll end it. But as I said, thanks for watching. So I'll do it going once. Oh, no problem, man. Okay, so you're all good. We'll just leave it at that then. But thanks for watching, man. And I'll post this video for tomorrow. I know you're on my email list, so I'll be emailing it out. And if you want, join. You don't need to. You can still be friends. I'm world famously known to say, wherever I can help you out, just let me know. I'm going to terminate this right